Oh, hello. What a beautiful day. And welcome to Have a Cup of Tea with Cal Doonican, episode 11. However, as you will know if you listened to last week's episode, Cal isn't here. Bless him, the little choochie face. Well, he is here. He's currently laying on the settee over there. Aren't you? Aye. Oh, very tired, the poor little lamb. Still suffering from his travelling time sickness. Anyway, I'm not going through all that again. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to episode 10. Do it. It's very important. Not just for, you need to know and understand your history, you humans, and your future. Any road, I hope you've got a drink, because I have. Lovely one it is as well. Now, right, yes, let's be clear. I'm Professor Mackenzie, Head of Travelling Time Studies at the University of Woofwoofgrr. And I will continue to stand in for and support my lovely little pet Cal while he recovers from his recent traumas. Now, I advise that you go back and look at last week's episode, which unusually was a video episode, so that you can see I am not a human being. No, I am a talking dog. Well, that's all very diminishing, but basically, yes, I'm a descendant of the dogs you humans currently keep as pets. I'm from the future, 3032 to be precise, where we dogs run the planet Earth with AGI, I suppose, artificial general intelligence beings. You would probably call them robots. And you humans are, well, largely we keep you as pets, although not pets as you think of pets today. Sort of like a combination pet and assistant. You can be very useful, you humans. You really can. Anyway, go back to last week's episode if you want to know what I look like, if that sort of thing's important to you. Anyway, I have received lots of questions from last week's episode. So many it's quite tricky to know where to start. But one comment was why, if we can travel in time, and I wanted to help Cal, why didn't I travel back so I could take over the week after Cal was sent to prison? Well, that's an excellent, well-observed question. Well, the simple truth is I was a little angry with Cal, and I did feel the need to discipline him slightly. Now, you see, I gave Cal permission to travel back in time to have a go at his little dream of being a songwriter. Little voice, roughly. However, I left him to complete the paperwork. I trusted him. Now, he assured me he had filled in the correct forms requesting for the time travel permit. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Time travel permit. I took Cal at his word. Now, it subsequently came to light that Cal hadn't submitted the application, fearing it might be turned down. Yeah. Well, he just pretended he had and told me the permits had been sanctioned. You're a silly boy, Cal. Naughty. Anyway, so that's how Cal broke the law. Of course it was going to come out, Of course, as his owner, although I prefer to consider myself as a carer, in your language of today, it did reflect poorly on me. I wasn't happy, but the Supreme Council, that's the body of, for simplicity's sake, let's call them dogs and AGIs, so you understand, ruled that Cal could be held entirely accountable for his foolish actions, as no real harm has been done, or had been done. Of course, time is a continuum, so who knows what will happen. But anyway, and that's fine, because for me, if someone has done something wrong, there should be consequences. Have you learned your lesson? Have you, Cal? I hope you have. Anyway, I don't think he has. Now, as I said to you before, I'm going to keep this a lot shorter than Cal's been doing. So I'm going to play the song now, and then we're going to explore this further. So I think this week, I think we're going to play, Harmony Trials. Yeah, so as we've been talking about travelling time laws a lot so far, I thought a good song for this week's episode would be Harmony Trials by the band that Cal and his mates did in their band Robot Radio. So here you go, this one's called Harmony Trials. Right, where were we? That were right good as well, wasn't it? Fantastic. You're a clever boy, Cal. Yeah, and your mates in Robot Radio. I love his loyalty. Lovely, lovely. Anyway, that were Harmony Trials by Robot Radio. Smashing little ditty. Where were we? I was saying that since episode 10, we had a lot of questions, and go back and listen to episode 10 if you haven't listened to it. It'll explain things a bit better. But now, some of you humans seem to find it hard to accept that sometime in the very near future you cease to be, pardon my pun here, you cease to be the top dogs on the planet. Others have raised issues about time travel, others about time travel laws. Now, there were a few particularly cruel humans who took great pleasure criticising poor Cal over there, you little sausage, you poor little sausage, criticising him over there, saying things like, I'll tell you what, I'll quote you one of them. Here's one. Now, let me grab this. It's funny, people writing on paper still. Dear Professor, your pet Cal is a talentless muppet. He has had the opportunity to listen to all the greatest songs in the history of mankind, and then comes back here to our time and can't even write one decent hit. He spelt right, R-I-G-H-T. Right. Can't even write one decent hit. What a donkey! Oh, laughing at your fool pet, Jimmy O'Toole. Well, Jimmy, all the points you make are good and valid. However, I will take umbrage at 2 of them little points you made. 1, you wrote right, as in the alternative to left, Jimmy. Very poor. Now it's your language, Jimmy. Learn to spell it proper. I speak 32 languages, by the way. And 2, don't use donkey or any animal as an insult. Donkeys are proud, hard-working, noble creatures. Interestingly, well, I think it's interesting, I don't know what you'll think about it, but interestingly enough, in 3032, where I come from, donkeys are also higher on the evolutionary ladder than humans, and will never make a basic grammar stroke spelling mistake like what you have, you dozy pillock. Jimmy O'Toole, you are. Anyway, so we've been talking about travelling time laws, I did hope you like that song, because I think it's quite pertinent at this time. That song written about a time in the not distant future when here in the currently titled UK they start sending people to jail for criticising the government. The harmony laws, they call them. You get sent to prison for criticising a government decision or policy, even asking a question. So I say it's pertinent because you can't, you can see it now, I suppose. What's his name? The current chap. I don't know how much longer he lasts. I forgot my history. But, the one who... What's his name? Aye, Stammer. Oh, Stammer. Aye. Yeah, well, that's him. And it's funny because he's the one who keeps trying to jail that Irish hip-hop rap trio. What are they called?
Kneecap.
What are they called? Kneecap. Aye. Kneecap. Now, he keeps trying to jail them. Now, music's not my field either, but Cal loves them. He absolutely loves them, and I do respect their art too. But, they're artists. They aren't dangers to the welfare of the state. Can I think of a reference that's contemporary for you? Ant and Dec. Yeah, they're like an edgier Ant and Dec. Lovely bunch of lads, Kneecap, very witty and wise. They will, of course, go on to do even greater things, and, well, yes, they are highly venerated in the future, whereas Stammer, perhaps best I shouldn't go there, but anyway, that's enough for this week. Come back next week for episode 12, of Have a Cup of Tea with Cal Doonican. Without Cal, he's feeling a bit better, I think. With me, Professor Mackenzie, head of Travelling Time Studies in the year 3032. That's where I'm from. Bye for now. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Try for now. Bye.